Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another educational module. Yes, guys, it's a beautiful morning here on the 18th day of February 2026. And we wake up, we go to the gym, we educate ourselves, we go to work, and we be the best that we can be. I strive to go a step further than everybody that I've had as a teacher. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good enough to just give somebody something to read. I'm the motherfucker that's gonna tell you every single time, you gotta read it to them. You gotta read it to them. You gotta show them that how the information can be applied. I mean, obviously, it's easy to just shout "Ikra." You know what I'm saying? Because that takes all the work off of you. You don't have anything else further to do, and it's really easy to be like, "That's your fucking job to educate yourself." No. It's Kevin Mayo's responsibility specifically to educate everybody that wants to go the same path as Kevin Mayo. If I don't, it's nonsensical to tell somebody else that I can't give them the information, or I'm too impatient or too fucking lazy. I spit on all that. I spit on all that. All right, without further ado, let's talk about the miracle of salt, iron, and water, the balanced recipe for the human life, by Kevin David Mayo II. This book is available 100% for free on Substack. You can also buy it on Amazon in March 2026. The hardcover is going to be pretty expensive, but once again, it's free of charge and on Substack right now. And the support options are for only those blessed enough to be able to support me. I don't expect any handouts or any form of support, but I get a lot of it, so I mean, I'm grateful for you guys. Forward. Eat that fucking fried chicken. I'm serious. Stop overthinking it. Salt it properly. Cook it in beef tallow or lard if you can. Pair it with some greens and some yams. Enjoy your life. This book isn't about restriction. It's about understanding. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't have a PhD in biochemistry. I'm a business major who works in insurance and finance. And I, quite frankly, just got tired of being lied to about food. For years, I watched people online argue about veganism versus carnivorism. Plant-based warriors claiming meat will kill you. Carnivore evangelists saying vegetables are poison. Both sides armed with studies, and both convinced that they have the truth in their hands. And I kept thinking, man, one of these motherfuckers lying. Or everybody's confused. Or we're asking the wrong questions. So I started reading and reading and reading and reading and reading. Not the blog post or the YouTube comments. I don't consume hours of YouTube videos and then adopt that as an opinion, and I highly recommend you don't do that either. I relied on actual studies, peer-reviewed research, epidemiology, biochemistry, astrophysics. You'll see why here in a minute. And I went deep. And what I found out has changed everything forever. The miracle isn't in the macros, folks. It's in the minerals. The miracle isn't in the macros. It is in the minerals. The miracle isn't in the macros. It is in the minerals. Salt from the ancient seas, iron forged in dying stars, and water that makes up 60% of your fucking body. These aren't poetic metaphors either. These are literal facts about where the elements that keep you alive and subsistent as a automaton simulacra, this is where they come from. And understanding them will free you from the diet wars forever. Who's this book for? This book is for people who are tired of the bullshit. They're tired of conflicting advice. They're tired of being told that salt will kill you while the longest lived people on earth eat 3 to 5 times the amount of what doctors recommend. They're tired of being told to restrict fat while your brain is 60% fat and needs fat to function. And they're tired of ideology masquerading as science. This book is especially for young black men, although it can be beneficial for anybody, I feel like. I'm tired of watching my brothers get sick, get fat, get depressed, and get told it's their fault for not eating enough quinoa or doing enough fucking keto. This information has merely been gatekept. It's been available, but just gatekept to hell. Doctors don't explain this stuff either. Influencers just oversimplify it. And the food industry actively hides this. So now I'm putting this all in one place, in a language that makes sense, with receipts, with practical strategies for vegans, carnivores, and everyone in between. What this book is going to do. You're going to learn why the American Heart Association's 1,500 milligram sodium recommendation is killing people and what the actual science says. You're going to learn how your body processes vitamins, carbs, and fats. The real biochemistry, not the Instagram version. You're going to learn why the ratio of sodium to potassium, like quite literally the shit that keeps you alive and wakes you up in the morning, matters most than the absolute amount of either. You're also going to learn how iron was forged in the heart of dying stars billions of years ago and ended up in your blood. You're also going to learn why vegans specifically need to be strategic about bioavailability and which supplements are non-negotiable. You're going to learn why carnivores eating only muscle meat are setting themselves up for deficiencies. Hint, hint, you want to eat like some brain and some heart too. You're going to learn what actually happened to American health between 1900 and 2020. Hint, it wasn't meat or salt, it was more or less seed oils. And last but not least, you're going to learn about how traditional populations eating wildly different diets all achieved exceptional health and what they had in common. And most importantly, you will learn how to apply this for yourself regardless of your dietary preferences. Whether you're a vegan for ethical reasons, a carnivore for autoimmune reasons, a Muslim like me avoiding pork, a Christian fasting for Lent, which just started, or just trying to feel less like shit, this book will work for you. Because biology doesn't care about your ideology. Because the biology does not care about your ideology. A note on tone. I cuss, motherfucker. I use slang. I make pop culture references. I say bro and dude probably way too much. I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to sound like a textbook. I'm trying to sound like someone who's explaining this to a friend over a beer. Because, that's what this is. If you want dry, boring, weird academic prose, there's thousands of nutritional textbooks that want to sell you a fucking lie. They're boring as hell and nobody reads them. I want you to actually read this. I'm going to read it to you. If you have the patience, I want you to understand this. And I want you to use this. So I'm keeping it real, bitch. If you don't like it, there's a door. You know what I mean? You can click out of live. I got. You definitely ain't gonna be the first person I pissed off. You damn sure ain't gonna be the last. Cause I got emotion for real. But if you're tired of being talked down to, and if you want the truth delivered straight, and if you're ready to stop fighting over macros and start fixing your minerals, welcome. Welcome to The Miracle of Salt, Iron, and Water by Kevin Dave Mail II. Let's get into it. Be fervent, be honest, and always strive, and never, ever motherfucking behave. Yo, what up, Cody? How you doing, brother? February 2026, Part 0, Foundational Biology. How your body actually processes food. Before we dive into the diet wars, we need to understand the basics, not the Instagram version of metabolism, the actual biochemistry. This is the foundation. Skip this and you won't understand shit later. If you read this part and let me read it to you, and if you understand it, everything else will click. It's kind of complicated, but it's pretty simple. Like once you lay it out. All right. First things first. Protein metabolism. What protein is? Protein is made of amino acids. About 18 different 20 different amino acids. These are like different chemicals that that the meat is made of. There's 20 different ones in total, and 9 of them are essential, meaning that your body cannot make them. You can only get them externally from food. What happens when you eat protein? First, digestion begins. Obviously, you can't like just shove a turkey leg up your ass. You have to process the food mechanically. So first you chew it. The hydrochloric acid in your stomach denatures the protein, or think of it like unraveling a tightly wound rope into loose yarn. And then pepsin, an enzyme in your stomach, starts breaking the protein chains into smaller pieces. Step 2, small intestines, where the most digestion happens. Trypsin and chymotrypsin, enzymes from the pancreas, continue breaking down said protein. Pepsidases, or enzymes in the intestinal wall, break it down further into individual amino acids. Absorption. Amino acids are absorbed through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, and then they're transported to cells throughout the body. Step 4, what your body does with amino acids. Option 1, build stuff. That's called the anabolic methodology. Muscle protein synthesis. This requires leucine threshold of 2 to 3 grams per meal. And this is triggered by an mTOR, or a mechanistic target of rapamycin, signaling the building of enzymes, hormones, antibodies, collagens, and neurotransmitters. Option 2, the use for energy. This is called catabolic. In case you're wondering what like these fitness influencers be talking about, like if they ever get into the science, I'm talking about that specifically right here. Anabolic, catabolic. We're on catabolic. Rewind about like 5 minutes if you want to know what anabolic is and what the fuck we're talking about right now. If you're low on carbs or fat, protein can actually be converted into glucose via gluconeogenesis, or the literal creation of glucose. This happens primarily in the liver. And option 3, convert to fat if excess. This is extremely rare, but possible. This is a process called lipogenesis, or making fat. Amino acids go to acetyl-CoA to fatty acids, and then those fatty acids are then stored as triglycerides. Key points. Your body prioritizes protein for building and repair. It's the last macronutrient it wants to burn for energy or to convert to fat. But if you weigh way more than what you need and you're not training hard, then excess protein can actually become fat. 0.2, carbohydrate metabolism. Here's what carbs are. Simple sugars. Um, Sugars are simple carbs, and starches are complex carbs. All that breaks down into glucose, fructose, or galactose. What happens when you eat carbs? Salvatore amylase in your mouth, or saliva, starts breaking down the starches. You'll notice that, like, even when you eat bread, like, it starts to taste sweet if, like, you have it in your mouth long enough. That's by design, because, like, your spit literally breaks down carbohydrates into pure sugar. Pancreatic amylase in the small intestine continues the job, and brush border enzymes such as sucrase, lactase, and maltase break disaccharides into monosaccharides. Sucrose leads to glucose plus fructose. Lactose leads to glucose plus galactose, and maltose leads to glucose plus glucose. Step 2, absorption. Glucose, fructose, and galactose are absorbed into the bloodstream. Glucose goes everywhere. All cells can use it. Fructose goes straight to the liver, where only the liver can process it efficiently. And galactose is converted to glucose in the liver. Step 3, what your body does with glucose. Option 1, immediate energy, glycosis. Glucose leads to pyruvate, and that enters the mitochondria, and that starts ATP reduction, or cellular energy. This is your body's preferred quick fuel. Option 2, storage as glycogen. Liver glycogen, 100 to 120 grams, is released into the bloodstream. Muscle glycogen, 400 to 500 grams, is used during exercise, and it's not released into the blood. When glycogen stores are full, excess glucose has to go somewhere. Option 3, convert to fat. De novo lipogenesis, or DNL. When glycogen is topped off, excess glucose is converted to fat. The process, glucose leads to pyruvate to acetyl-CoA to manolo-CoA to fatty acids, primarily palmitic acid. This is packaged as VLDL, or very low density lipoprotein, and is sent into the bloodstream, and then that's delivered to fat cells for storage. What I just described there was the process of carbs becoming fat. You know what I mean? Like, Anthony Orlandi could never hope to understand this or explain this to you. I'm giving this to you for free. I'm giving this to you for free. Let's continue. What your body does with fructose. A critical fucking difference. Fructose metabolism is different from glucose. All fructose goes to the liver first, motherfucker. This is mandatory hepatic processing. This bypasses the rate-limiting step, or phosphofructokinase. That's the process where your body, limits the processing of sugars, or, starts pissing it out. For high fructose corn syrup, it doesn't do that. And that regulates glucose metabolism. This means that fructose leads to fat conversion much faster. The pathway. Fructose leads to fructokinase, or fructose 1-phosphate. This step has no regulation, it just goes. Fructose 1-phosphate leads to glyceride and DHAP. Both enter gluconeogenesis or liponeogenesis pathways, and the result is fructose is 2 to 3 times more lipogenic or fat producing than glucose. This is why high fructose corn syrup is metabolically different than table sugar, and exactly why everyone keeps saying we need to go to real sugar. Because we do. High fructose corn syrup is metabolically different than table sugar. Table sugar is sucrose. It's 50% glucose and 50% fructose. High fructose corn syrup, 55% fructose, 45% glucose. The extra 5% fructose plus the liquid form hits the liver hard and fast. Excess fructose leads to hepatic fat accumulation, and that leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. The insulin connection. When blood glucose rises, pancreas releases insulin. Insulin signals cells, says that the glucose is available, take it up, and the insulin then activates. GLUT4 transporters, think of these as like little trucks in your bloodstream that move glucose into muscles or fat cells. Glycogen synthase, those store glucose as glycogen. Lipoprotein lipase, enzymes that pull fat into cells, and then this inhibits hormone-sensitive lipase, or HSL. That's an enzyme that pulls fat out of fat cells. The translation. Insulin is a storage hormone. When it's high, you store energy, glycogen and fat. When it's low, you burn energy, especially fat. Chronic high insulin, or hyperinsulinemia. Cells become resistant. They downregulate insulin receptors, and the pancreas has to produce even more insulin to get the same effect. This is known as insulin resistance, or the precursor to type 2 diabetes. You're stuck in storage mode 24/7, and you can't access stored fat for energy. Let's go ahead, take a break right there, guys. We'll pick up where we left off tomorrow. We're at 0.3 fat metabolism. This full article will be available in the content, in the context, and this narration as well as this book will be available for consumption as well as purchase for absolutely free of charge. But if you're blessed enough, send your boy $40 for all the extreme research that I do. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate you.